Well, here we are on a Wednesday morning, not our usual time and day.
No,
but,
usually
you had a private, very secretive appointment yesterday.
So what's up? The Chamber is rocking.
You don't want to talk about that?
No. Let's talk about the Chambers. Jeff Conan last week.
I never come here so early.
Jeff was really good.
He's funny. And I want to thank when our volunteer calls him Conine Jeff.
Who was that? Okay, while we're talking about trustee events, when you ask for questions, can you ask them to ask a question?
Oh, gosh, that's a Miami trait. We're taking statements now, not questions.
Speak about statements.
People just get up and, they want to tell you their life story. I went and saw Larry Zonka the other day.
How was that?
Oh, it was good. He's cute.
Who brought him in?
Books and Books.
Pretty exciting. How big is he?
Larry Zonka?
Yeah.
Not big anymore. I mean, Joe Rose is bigger than he is. At least in terms of height, but he's I think he played one generation after they were wearing leather helmets. So the fact that he's, got it,
what other famous players were there? Larry Zonka, Joe Rose, Tom Smith.
Yeah, Tom Smith, who's his best friend.
Were they?
Yeah, because Tom helped him with the book.
Oh, I didn't know that. No, not Tom, his wife.
Well, his wife helped too, but Tom was there too because he mentioned him. There was somebody else because people cheered when he introduced him, but I didn't. I wasn't paying enough attention.
Where was it?
The Congregational Church, across from the Biltmore. Friday night, 7:00.
Was it a good crowd? Full
house. Joe Rose is like, "Don't you people have anything else to do on a Friday night?" And you know what I started thinking? I didn't.
Yes, you do. You'd choose not to.
I don't think so. What did I do after that? I was hungry, maybe. I don't know.
Did you eat? Where'd you eat?
No, because I went and saw a movie beforehand about Richard III, the Lost King. And then I think the event ended like at 8:30.
That's late.
Yeah, and I had to do something the next day. I can't remember what it was.
All right, so today's a holiday.
At sundown.
Sundown, right?
At sundown, yes. It is the first night of Passover or Passover Seder.
Are you going to anybody's house?
I'm not. No. I'm going to go work. I think we'll close the office around 4 or 5 o'clock.
That's very nice to meet the people's needs.
Well, normally we'd have an event tonight.
Oh, that's right.
But we're not having Wine Down Wednesday. We canceled it because of
So yesterday was deep dish pizza day.
No, that's today.
Oh, that's today. I didn't know that.
I updated
National Read a Roadmap, National Flash Drive Day, National Nebraska Day, Raisin Spice Bar Day.
I don't even know what half this stuff is.
National Walking Day. Wow. I like this. National Go for Broke Day.
Go for broke, baby.
All right, so let's talk about the Chamber.
Are you all in? Are you going for broke?
Let's talk about, we had the trustee last week, was great. Who was the sponsor of that event?
That was our partners at U Health and Myrna.
It was a great location.
We did it at Newman Alumni Hall.
And
the cost of hotels right now for catering is gotten a little bit beyond our price point. So we've been exploring a lot of other options. We've done a couple restaurants like Ruth's Chris and Fogo de Chao, Bay 13. We've also done places like the Newman Alumni Hall, and just trying some non-traditional locations.
I didn't know the parking there is great.
Yeah, there's a big parking lot there.
And I never knew that.
For during the day. It can get tougher at night if you've got a baseball game or a sporting event or a lecture, but yeah.
Okay, so that was Wednesday. Thursday was Take Me Out to
the ball game. Of course, it was Marlins opening day. Great crowd.
The Mets
a little bit of a setback, we got down 3-0, then we tied it up, and then the Mets prevailed 5-3. But we had a nice group there, 20 or so folks that we took, and then some of our members, and then I saw you. And
well, I was on the way out to pass out the program that we produced with the Marlins.
They wouldn't let you back in.
They finally figured it out that I'm not sneaking.
Were people excited?
Get the program? It was crazy. We passed out so many because the gates, they're really tight when you leave.
Yeah.
So,
But people didn't leave until the end because we stayed for the entire game. Left, got to the car, and then it probably took about an hour to get out of the
you parked in the garage?
Yeah. I'm a very traditional guy.
Yeah.
Not big into parking on someone's lawn.
Oh, I love that. No blocking, no blocking. One lady I went to, she said,
no, but didn't you have to park closer because you had all the magazines?
yes. So the lady said $20. I said, no, 30. She went, what? I love that tradition.
You offered 10 more than she wanted?
Yeah. Well, because
it's like a tip.
Yeah, but it's great tradition. That's how they make money.
Well, the best part is when it's time to come get your car.
It's blocked.
It's blocked and there's nobody around.
They're in the house hiding.
There's nobody. They've left. They've gone to spend the cash. Because I figure most houses can park, what, 3-4 cars?
Oh, so not this house.
Make $100.
More power to them.
And that was just Friday. I'm sorry, Thursday. Then,
There's 81 home games. Not all of them we crowded, but the houses close to it, they make their money. Now,
that's right. 81 home games, 162 games.
Marlins are now 2-3.
Yeah, the Twins came to town and were rough on them, but they prevailed yesterday. So
right, they lost. They won the first one, right? Monday. Today's
Wednesday.
Did they lose yesterday?
I think maybe yesterday's the day they lost.
Oh,
because they got one from the Mets, and then one from the Twins so far.
People go to the games.
Win tonight. We're 500, baby. 500.
Regarding the Marlins, even though they're 30 years old, it's New York. The Miami is based. Was like when the Dolphins play a Northern team, the stadium fills with Northerns. Florida Panthers. Look how many people come in for the Florida Panther game from all over. I spoke to their marketing director, and he says, Grant, I got people driving from Naples to come to games
because they're fans of the visiting team.
Right.
Well, I can tell you on opening day
for
the Marlins, there were a number of sections where I could see everybody was wearing the same shirt.
That was all the Mets people.
Mets fans. So when we were leaving, it was kind of a sky blue with pink.
Right.
So I was super confused because I thought it said Queens of the South.
No.
And I was super excited that all these gays had come out to the ball game. But I think it was just Queens South, meaning like it's another borough.
Right, exactly.
So I thought all these old men were a bunch of gay guys who love baseball.
No.
The shirts were like baby blue and pink.
Yeah. But it was exciting. I walked the stadium. Service was great. Food was good.
Yeah.
Everybody was the staff was outstanding.
Listen, I had no complaints. We sat up in section 220. About the only thing that was a little out of the ordinary was a big fight.
A fight?
Yeah, a fight broke out. So I see this woman walking down the section. And the funny thing is Alfie was sitting in the section with his family. So I had, been chatting with him and everything. And this woman comes down. And,
Alfie's a Marlin staffer.
Yeah, Marlin's executive. And she had a young kid with her. And all I heard her say was, oh, blank, blank, no. And she took her tray, which had 3 perfectly good hot dogs on it, and just smashed it into somebody. And a fight broke out. And so suddenly a bunch of people were removed, the ushers, the police.
That's exciting.
So I said to one of my staff, I go, listen, go down to that section, see if those hot dogs are still wrapped.
So I'm at
They would have been perfectly fine to eat.
I'm at Arbetters last week.
Yeah, of course. Hot dog season, baby.
And
I feel like there should be a mashup between Arbetters and the Marlins.
Well,
they have a lot of local. They have Beancho, and they have a lot of other local flavors.
Well, Arbetters has a Marlin dog,
but at their place.
Yes, it's the same.
We need a Marlins dog sponsored by Arbetters at Marlins Park. Listen, I got a direct line into David Oxfeld, who's lovely and amazing, and
he was
been working with me on ice cream for the last year.
David did a good job speaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy when you're next to Mr. Marlin and you're sort of like the color commentator and the broadcaster. He's the broadcaster.
You had the best one-liner. He gives you his full-page resume and he reads the whole thing. He says, "You read the whole thing." He goes, "I didn't want you to read it." And you said, "Why'd you give me the whole thing then?"
I mean, it's cute. I mean,
Yeah.
he's won a lot of awards, and he's certainly done very well.
Impressive.
And he's been a mainstay with this crew, and clearly he's gonna be out on the road like the rest of his colleagues, like Alfie and Caroline, and Jason Latimer, and it's just and Andre is just a wonderful group of front office folks, and I really appreciate the relationship. We had a great time. I think our staff had a great time. I mean, where else can you go?
You took
and
the whole
get
staff.
And a guest.
And their guests?
$50 ticket, and you get a $10 food credit.
Wow.
Yeah, so you got two people, you got $20 there. You can really clean up. So
All right. So we have Reconnect. What's happening with that?
So Reconnect's today at noon. That's a
Where?
sold out event over at Morton's.
It's always at Morton's.
Always at Morton's. Thank you, Elizabeth Norris and
Who's speaking?
team. I don't know who the speaker is today, but I'm sure they'll do a great job. And we have a speaker every month.
Right.
One of the most popular programs that we do, sells out every month. It's really focused on our newer members, small and medium-sized enterprises. And where else can you have an opportunity to really get up and speak about your business every month? Get a little infomercial, and I think people really appreciate that audience. Plus, you get lunch at Morton's for $30. Where else can you do that?
We
Three
got
courses, baby.
David Lawrence. This guy's he's larger than life. You have a book club with him?
Yeah, so David is
Do I have to buy a book?
longtime friend. You do not. Okay. Matter of fact, this week already, I've seen him twice. We were at a big children's trust.
When was that?
event
Yesterday.
on Monday.
Oh, that was Monday.
Where they were announcing the partnership between Ken Griffin, the children's
The
trust.
the baseball guy?
No, not Ken Griffey. Ken Griffin
Oh, the guy from
from
Chicago.
Citadel. He gave $5 million to help create.
How much?
$5 million. Soccer pitches all over the community to get kids active and embracing the world's fastest growing sport. And
I saw you. You were on the left side of the photograph.
I may have been.
I saw it.
I may have been. There was a nice.
I could have been your
group of us.
+1. I could have met Ken.
I was like a minus half. Wasn't feeling super great on Monday, and so I worked from home in the morning and then went up to the event and then came to the Gables for work. And we're at that point of the year where it's like we've been firing on all cylinders for the last quarter, and here we are with another busy quarter ahead of us. Certainly a busy month.
Before we go to the next trustee, April 11th is the next trustee. Who's speaking?
Trustee reception.
Reception.
So it'll be a nice
Where's that?
event at Ponce Circle Towers. Donna Abood from Avis and Young will be hosting us, one of our past chairs. So we've already, I think the event's a week away. We've already got 75 or 80 people that have RSVP. They want to see the renovations in this building. It overlooks the Ponce Park and the plaza, and it's going to be lovely.
Oh, that's the bank, right?
Yes, it's the bank building is more commonly known as the Regions Bank.
You had events there before in the past.
We've had events up in the lobby. We've had events up in the tower. They've got wonderful space up there, beautiful balconies.
So one thing you have not mentioned in weeks is your workouts.
I'm on a little bit of a hiatus. I haven't been
What do you
feeling
mean?
super well. Just what I was telling you on Monday. I worked from home for part of the day.
Are you exercising at all?
It's just an energy thing. So I need a little boost. So it's been rough.
So when was the last time you worked out? People like to know.
It's probably been over a month at this point. Yeah.
That's very no excuses. You know that.
I'm not making any excuse. I just told you I'm like, I need a kick in the tuchus.
All right. So hospital run coming up soon. Run or walk?
Next Saturday, you can run it, you can walk it, you can jog it, you can bring kids. It's on the 15th, tax day, Saturday, right in front of City Hall.
Somebody's birthday. One of your board of directors.
On April 15th.
Yes.
Is it Amy's birthday? How do you remember that? You cannot remember
Doctor's
what you
month.
had for breakfast.
Well,
this morning.
tax day. Everybody remembers tax day.
Well, that's true. Even though taxes won't technically be due until Tuesday. But did you do your taxes?
No.
No. You're getting an extension?
Yes.
So even though you get an extension, I learned this recently. If you have a liability and you owe the government,
You
you
pay
got to write
interest.
that check.
Right.
You don't just wait. You got to write that check, estimated, and then you can resubmit. But yeah, they'll give you an extension. But I did my taxes back in early March and got that out of the way.
So sponsors for the Doctor's Hospital run.
Oh, we're going to that topic.
Yeah.
Got a lot of great sponsors. So Doctor's Hospital, of course, has been our presenting sponsor for 26 years. We've got some new sponsors this year, like WSS Shoes. Our friends in South
Are they
State
just coming here? Are they here now?
coming to North Gables / 8th Street area.
Have you heard or seen Nelson, former CEO of Doctors?
He'll text me every once in a while, usually when something bizarro has been happening in Coral Gables or someone passes away or something like that.
Somebody just passed away.
It did. Jack Thompson.
I
Done
didn't.
a little tribute to
It was very nice of you guys.
him. Yeah, well, Alan is a great member of ours, and that's his son-in-law, and really out of
No, father-in-law.
major respect.
Father-in-law. Oh, right.
Well, Alan's a son-in-law.
Right.
Out of major respect to Alan and what his team and company do for us and Thad and everybody. It's generally something we reserve for our past chairs who have passed, and we've lost a couple in the last few years, including Ron Robeson. And so, but the reality is, when you serve our community at, the highest level, it's good to recognize and honor that.
So give me the rundown. Is there still time to sign up?
Plenty of time to sign up for the run. You can even sign up on race day. I think as of yesterday, we were approaching about 300 runners. Our goal is about 650. Excuse me. My goodness. So we're about halfway there. We've got a great number of sponsors. Mercedes-Benz, I mentioned South State. Still trying to get a few more sponsors. So if you're interested, that comes with everything from, recognition at the event, some runners. Love to have all of you. Lowell Realty is involved with that. Lauren Dolan is chairing the event. So, we'd love to have around 650 runners. So, like I said, we're about halfway there.
And what was your biggest ever? 650.
Ooh, probably our biggest ever goes way back. Even before we did the 10K, we probably had 800-900 runners.
Wow.
Yeah, could have been more than that. But in my time, I don't think we've ever broken 1,000 or so.
So you
We
got
work with Frankie Ruiz, best run producer in town, and does the marathon. We've got a lot of great partners.
he is if not one of the top coaches in the southeast United States.
Coaches the Berlin cross country team. A lot of those kids end up at UF. So we
Do they?
appreciate that, sure.
Speak about UF. I want to talk about Small Business Summit, but I want to talk about UF. I hear the new baseball stadium is unbelievable.
I have not been to it.
What?
I haven't.
You're the former
Last
president of
year,
student body.
of student of the alumni association.
Okay, sounded good for a minute, right?
I had to think about it. I'm like, was I? The stadium opened 2 years ago.
And you have not been to a baseball game.
I have not. I have not been to a baseball game. I don't generally get to Gainesville in the spring, and I haven't been to a football game since before COVID.
Why?
So. I went to an away game this year, so that was what
Who's
we
that?
did. We went to Nashville.
Speak about Gators. What was your football record this year?
We were 6-7.
So you had 6-7. Your quarterback, it might be in the top 3 picks.
Yeah, I would say Anthony has certainly overperformed at the combine and at the pro day and his workouts with teams. I mean, he has shown a greater maturity.
What year is he in?
At Florida, he was a sophomore.
Wow.
So, he played, then he started, and then he left really after 1 year. And, he didn't have the talent around him because we had a new coach. And so, Billy's going to build, his own team now. But I think most Gators would have liked to have seen Anthony
Couple more years.
stay at least one more year because he had things to work on. But clearly he's been working on them.
Well, he's 6'5",
It's huge.
runs a 4.4. Come on.
No, he overperformed at the combine to everyone's expectations. and really was just a beast out there when it came to everything. His 40 time, his vertical jump. There really is nobody that is in his class.
Looks like a tight end.
So, and he's huge on top of that.
Okay, so
I mean, he used to just run guys over. I mean, the only person that I could somewhat equate him to was when Tebow was our
But Tebow wasn't that big.
quarterback, but Tebow couldn't throw the ball the same way.
Yes, he could. Okay,
He had a sidearm motion.
before we get to the small business summit, how about LSU basketball?
So I have to tell you, I don't ever watch women's basketball.
9 million people watch that game.
9.9 million.
Okay.
Approaching 10 million. And I was one of them.
Me too.
I went to see a show on Sunday, so I had to squeeze it into my schedule. And, it's really been about a lot of things. I mean, the viewership, kind of rivalry and trash talk that's gotten a lot of
The talk,
Twitter press.
It's so crazy. There's trash talking. The LSU kid went like this. Like, of course, they're winning. They get their ring.
The game was basically
Over. And then that girl, what's the girl from the
Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark is class act. She went and says, hey, they won. They deserve it.
I mean, she was on SportsCenter last night. I only saw the clips, but she seems to obviously get it in the sense that, she had done some trash talking against Louisville. So turnabout is fair play.
That's what she said.
There was some scuttlebutt about inviting them to the White House.
Come on, Madam First Lady.
And she said that's reserved for champions. I mean, she bailed everybody out. And she's what, 22 years old?
Yeah, well, she's making $1 million a year.
In NIL.
Yeah. But it's interesting.
She really is amazing. I mean, I have to tell you, I can't stand LSU. They're an SEC program, so they're a natural.
But I love that
rival. But I don't have any beef against
when
Angel Reese doing her thing. Maybe she kind of tracked her down a little too much.
Yeah. Jill Biden says let's write the second place team.
She just
and then the newscaster throughout the day go, hey, you get a participation trophy just to get there, making a joke that. But
yeah, I don't think the First Lady really thought it through. I think what she was saying is it was such a great game.
Oh, it was.
It was so much fun. I mean, she went to that game. I think she sat with Billie Jean King, who was, a pioneer in Title IX. When these ladies were coming up, sports wasn't available to them like it is to Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. And, my only complaint, if there is a small complaint, is, I am not a big fan of the coach of LSU. She's got she has a bit of a history of homophobia and was a bit of a COVID denier during COVID.
What do you mean? What's a COVID denier? What's it?
Meaning that it wasn't real and we don't need vaccinations and we don't need to test.
Okay, and homophobia is?
That she basically doesn't want to, quote, hear about what's going on with her players' personal lives. They're there to play basketball. So there's some scuttlebutt about when Brittany Griner was arrested in Russia and imprisoned. Brittany brought her a championship when she was at Baylor.
Huge.
She never spoke
on her behalf
in any way. It's not like we're thinking of you or come home soon or I hope you're okay. And
I just think Brittany Griner is a basketball player. There's no other.
I couldn't agree more. But there is, if you go and look at sort of the articles over the last few years, you're a little bit out of step. I think with not only today, but you're out of step with sports. And if you're going to coach women in sports, you're going to encounter players who are gay or lesbian.
Wait.
It's just going to happen.
This is not about we're off course. It's about the chamber. So you're saying only women can be gay? I mean, of the 120 football players?
No. I'm talking about her case specifically.
Oh, okay.
But, if you say, I don't know anything about that, I don't discuss that, I think you're being naive.
Isn't that like the Penn State coach?
Sure, you look the other way, right? Like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
First of all, probably next to a mom or a dad, for a lot of these players, the most important person in their life is their coach. They have a lot of influence over them. They spend a tremendous amount of time with them. They need to see them.
Correct.
They need to know who they are and see them. That doesn't mean you have to, have a conversation that goes beyond, the two of you. But I do think you got to look at that.
All right. So
we're in 2023 right now.
Let's get back to Gables. So Passover, Good Friday.
It's all happening here at once.
Your office is closed now. Today?
I'm sure when I left that they locked the place up. No, there was a committee meeting going on.
Okay, so
Passover starts tonight at sundown. Are you going to a Seder? Were you invited to a Seder? Is
Michael's house is. I don't need to go. He does it for me. All right. So
eats for two.
Well, you notice he's lost 27 pounds.
Well, he's looking great. The shirt's kind of hanging out, and
Small Business Summit. Let's talk about that.
Sure.
What's the story about it?
So we're hosting on May the 3rd. That's right in the middle of National Small Business Week, which is a program of the SBA. This is our annual. We've got a great number of sponsors, the most sponsors we've ever had for the event. We're still looking for additional sponsors, and I think we've got 6 or 7 speakers. We'll open with conversations
where's
about
the summit
scaling up. It's at the Coral Gables Coral Gables Art Cinema, right there on Aragon.
Is Miami number 1 or number 2 city in the country for small business?
I don't know if we're number 1 or number 2, but in terms of the state of Florida and small businesses and investment, we're certainly in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah, I love when they say Miami. Does that mean Miami-Dade County or does it mean the city of Miami?
I think it means Miami-Dade County. I think you're talking about the 3 million people who live here, but we are a community built of small businesses.
All right, so May 3rd. So there's going to be some discussions about...
The focus is on scaling your business. So the idea really is on growth. So all the speakers have that topic in hand, whether it's Chris Coley, who's going to talk about HR strategies.
That's the guy who does...
Tom Sullivan from the U.S. Chamber.
But the guy, Chris, doesn't he do a lot of stuff with pro teams, pro athletes?
I don't think so.
Oh, wrong guy. Are you going to speak?
I'm not going to speak, but you'll end up the day with 2 fun things. You'll hear closing remarks from the SBA folks, and then we have a reception right afterwards at John Martin's.
Appetizers?
I'm sure it's going to be everything that's featured on their menu. I mean, they're super generous, and they've done a great job in reimagining, kind of the old with the new and putting that all together. It's
I miss Martin Lynch.
Of course.
I used to love him.
Martin was a character, of all characters. You know what he's doing now, right?
What?
I think he's putting together like golf junkets. So if you're
yes, he is.
You're a big golfer.
You want to go to Ireland?
You want to go to Ireland, or you want to go to Royal Troon, or even Scotland. Those are where the British Open is usually held every year. So it's kind of a links kind of golf.
But I used to see him after retired at Anacapri, like once every 6 weeks. I sat with him. He is just a great person.
We miss him, but his legacy is there every single day. When you think about what's going on in, not only the restaurant that still bears his brand and likeness, but also, I think the things that we love most about John Martin's, they brought back the St. Patty's Day Festival. There are items on the menu which are, just a modern interpretation of what used to be, on Martin and John's menu. I mean, I will tell you, the shepherd's pie, amazing, but they've modernized it with some other items.
You never take me there. Well, you go out with all your clients. You never invite me. Did I tell you I had lunch with Justin?
Almost every day. You told me you did, and that the business has another investor.
It's just rocking and rolling. More power to those guys.
Well, people want to keep their car clean. I know people that sometimes wash their car more than once a week.
Do you?
And I think if I'm not that person, I just watched Lolita, I think for the first time since, I got her like 2 years ago.
So
I could do better. Sorry, Greg.
Your Instagram is really clicking. People, when I see these people, I got 10,000, I got 20,000, I got 30,000. You could buy all those.
Yeah, yeah. I heard from a group yesterday that they have 20,000 members, but we happen to know that they bought the city's, e-news subscriber list, so they don't have anything like
Are you talking
that.
about newsletter?
Newsletters, whatever it may be.
You know,
They're
newsletters,
saying people can say whatever they'd like. There's
You-
really little accountability.
right? Newsletters are emails. Matt, the question is, who gets it, and are they opening it? And then they clicking.
Yeah, I'm a big believer that if you're going to, subscribe to something, you're going to be more likely to read it.
That's
If you are subscribed to something, then there's a very small chance you're going to open it and read
Like
it.
ours, Michael would give the exact, but I think after 4 weeks or 5 weeks, if you don't open it, even though we're friends, you're off. Yeah, because you have to.
No.
No, you're not. You're always on top of things. So you're at 7,400
Yeah.
homegrown.
All homegrown, sure. And that's why that number stays so consistent, because what happens is if you are subscribing people, you'll see giant fluctuations because they're like, well, wait a minute, I didn't want to follow what was going on there. And I think we've picked up some, folks that after the bid closed, wanted access to information. And so our Instagram is very good at, we sort of have a method, it's part inspirational, it's part educational, it's part informational, but all of it is curated content very closely because we want to maintain, those strong bonds and relationships that we have with our followers. And you have to work on it every single day. I don't care whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or your Facebook page. And, certain audiences have a greater affinity toward one platform versus another.
That's
You see
correct.
more-
And you don't know which one.
It really depends on the person, but I'm hearing more and more about what's going on with LinkedIn. So we'll probably do some programming around that space as well.
Yeah, we have quite a few followers on that. I post as many of our, like Alex. What will you do after this with this show? See, there he is. Alex is paying attention.
Alex is always paying attention. It's not like having Andres over there.
Oh, yes. Okay, so 17.
Who's the other one that we used to have here?
Julian.
Julian. He's
Yeah,
still around.
he's
right?
still around.
Did you ever see that video that Howard did
Of what?
of the Businesswoman of the Year? Remember we talked about
No,
that
I never
last
saw it.
week? Gio.
Hey, 2 weeks ago. Listen. All right, so 17 new members in March.
Yeah.
A couple trustees.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to circle back to Businesswoman of the Year. It
We
was.
just tried to.
I know. It was outstanding. And some of the people were so elated. It was beautiful.
Yeah, I think what's great about that event is that it's so organic and so authentic. So it's one of the few, events that we do where you're honoring individuals versus companies. Our Diamond Awards are about corporate relationships. But what's really great about this is that you not only have that individual being recognized, but we recognize, all of the finalists equally. But when you win and a whole table of, generally women are there with you, stand up and cheer. I mean, I don't think there's any greater feeling of support and, success than that moment. So
Right.
I'm a big fan of that event. I mean, I don't enjoy going. I enjoy the camaraderie that exists, and I love the enthusiasm.
Yeah, it's quite unique. And the room was
Yeah.
wonderful.
The Diamond Awards people cheer too, but it's not the same because, your company won.
Right.
you know.
These are individuals. Some of these women, they were glowing. Not
They
glowing.
still are.
They're not glowing for me. They're glowing that they won these individual awards. Correct? All right.
I think so. I left out the fact that Election Day is less than a week away in Coral Gables. So
so tell us.
early voting has already started. There'll be another early voting day this Saturday.
So the mayor's already in.
Mayor is in and will be sworn
And
in
who are the
at
other
end of
three
month.
commissioners that are not up for reelection?
Kirk Menendez and Rhonda Anderson. So those three are carried through.
And the town is divided. I don't know how the vote's going to be.
I don't know. I mean,
They say-
there are always going to be galvanizing issues to either get you to
But what is,
support your candidate or not support somebody.
here's the issues I see in
Yeah.
Coral Gables. Are you on the mayor's team or not? There's no issues in Coral Gables. Police are good. The parks are good. Streets are good. So it's hard. You can't complain about
You know,
issues.
I mean, I would tell you the things that we work with the mayor and the commission on a weekly, monthly, and annual basis float around several issues. It's creating a really positive business environment. We want to have the best business climate in all of Florida. We want businesses to come to Coral Gables because
Those two, well, to the listeners and viewers, that's two different things.
yeah,
When you talk about it, I'm picturing us coming into Coral Gables. No, you're talking about major businesses coming to Coral Gables.
it could be both.
Okay.
We're working right now on a very large project that is a combination of chamber, city's economic development department, and the Beacon Council. Those don't happen every day. Those are
And you're,
maybe once or
you're
one or
trying to
two
be in a
year.
big company.
It's a retention project for South Florida.
Where's Ken putting his office?
I believe they're going to be on Brickell.
Well, why don't we set up a meeting? Let's talk to
That's
him.
okay. First time I met him, shook his hand, was this past Monday. And I just said, I'm Mark Trowbridge. I work with the Children's Trust on their board of directors. And welcome to Miami.
You didn't talk about Coral Gables Chamber.
There'll be always time for that. By the way, some of our folks were involved with his relocation. With some of our real estate professionals were a part of that squad. And listen, the best thing I can tell you that's going on is that's a perfect example of the interest not only in South Florida but in Florida.
Yeah.
And Coral Gables is definitely in the mix. So, to your other point about the business climate, it's for other businesses to be able to be really successful.
Yeah, that's a challenge.
Yeah.
When I used to hang out with Martin Lynch in his restaurant, every time a restaurant opened, he goes, "That's another chair. That's another chair," meaning another seat. How many seats can be?
Yeah, what is the true capacity? But I'll tell you something. Bon Appetit magazine just named Miami as the food community of the year for the whole world.
Wow.
They chose Miami, and you better believe that Coral Gables is an essential part of that formula. Look around Coral Gables, and I agree with Martin, empirically, because, at some point, there is a capacity, especially like on a
But
Tuesday or
this was
Wednesday
20
night.
years ago. He used to.
But what I would tell you is we have grown that capacity significantly and the interest in Coral Gables. So, just in the last couple of weeks, we've cut the ribbon on a new restaurant called Motek, which is Israeli food right there on Miracle Mile. They won the Burger Bash last year.
I thought that was Capital Burgers.
We won Capital Burger, won our event, Burgerlicious. They're coming April 29th. I mean, that's all in just a span of 4 or 5 weeks.
Don't worry, you can invite me to that one. We have to wrap it
I
up,
can
Mark.
bring a +1, by the
Oh,
way.
God.
I have very high expectations of what happens after we eat.
I'll keep that in mind.
I learned it from you.
Okay. Let's
When
wrap.
are we going to invite our friend Wayne Bracken to join us on the show?
Wayne would love to come. He'll entertain us.
So just to wrap up on the election, I do think for the most part, people in the city of Coral Gables are very pleased. I think the mayor enjoys tremendous support, which is why he didn't draw any opponent for his reelection. I can tell you that his care and concern for business is so genuine. I talked to him last night. Even on his birthday, he was on his way to Gulliver to judge a contest, and we were having a conversation specifically about, entrepreneurs and businesses. And, I don't know many people in my role or any role who has a chance to call the mayor on his cell phone and, grab a few minutes of his or her time, depending on who your mayor is. Monday being with Mayor Levine Cava, representing the Children's Trust along with our board. It's just, again, a reminder that we're a small town,
Right?
but a big community with an even bigger heart. And one of the things that I'm so proud of in Miami is that, our chamber learned a lot of lessons coming out of COVID. And that was, we may work in our lane every single day, but we're going to veer out of that lane periodically. We're going to be omnipresent when it's, for quality of life issues and, social engagement. Just having a conversation today about, what's top of mind with people. They're talking about women's basketball. They're talking about, sports. Sports is a opportunity where people come together. I feel the same way around food.
Me
You
too.
may have a different point of view,
No. Food's very important.
but it's what brings people together. And the more we can do that as a chamber, the better off we are. So that's our calling card today.
Hold on, I got 2 comments.
Oh,
I- well, no. Where'd it go? You got me going. Hold on.
I got you
It's-
going.
okay,
When you
first-
talk like that.
Mayor Lago, you can't dispute in modern history, there's no mayor that's been to more businesses open and promoting local business for Coral Gables.
Yeah, I mean, I got to work now with 5 different mayors, and I would tell you that Mayor Lago is omnipresent. Mayor Kaysen was very active in that space too. But the other thing that the mayor does really well is if he can't be there, he makes sure that Rhonda Anderson is there, or Kirk Menendez is there, or Michael Mena is there.
Okay, next
and
thing.
I
Read
appreciate
that headline.
Building the leaders of tomorrow means helping our youth develop leadership skills.
And that was
I
brought
saw
to
that in a newsletter.
That's community newspapers newsletter promoting the Children's Trust.
Oh, yeah. So the Children's Trust turned 20 this year. I serve as our treasurer and chair of the finance committee, representing the local chambers of commerce, i.e. the local business community.
It's by James. He wrote that piece.
Jimmy Hodge.
That's your guy.
Jim's great.
If you want to read local news,
So you know how I got to be in that picture?
how?
Jim was running late. He had brought Mr. Lawrence with him,
Oh,
and they were running late because there was an accident. We were all the way up at County Line Road. And
I saw.
again, we live in a little bit of a bubble, so to get out and see other parts of the community is another great thing that the Children's Trust does, because we serve, children and families from the northernmost reaches of County Line Road to all the way to the tip top of the Florida Keys. So, and I'm really, really proud of that fact. So,
we need to wrap it up.
was
Michael
there
Miller.
more than one comment?
That was it. No, that was just talking about. Michael's telling us we're
Michael
kicked
gonna
out.
We're getting kicked out.
Yes, getting kicked out.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about Passover
You just did.
and what's on the menu.
All right, let's say goodbye. Let's say goodbye to everybody.
Well, as always, while it may not be our usual day, we are unusual at it. Looking forward to seeing all of you next week. Our chamber is busy, active, and engaged, and we'd love to get you all involved. Something happening every single day of the week. So reach out, check us out on coralgableschamber.org, or more importantly, come and check out one of our events. Thanks for serving.
Have a great day.